بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I humbly ask Allah Ta'ala to grant us all the sincere intention and the proper comprehension. Allahumma ameen. Insha'Allah Ta'ala, we'll talk about the Prophet and his biography, alayhi salatu wassalam. But first, I will speak a little bit about his lineage. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is from the most honorable of lineages. And I want to remind myself and you, every time we mention the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, say as-salah and as-salam upon him. Say sallallahu alayhi wasallam or alayhi salatu wassalam. He is the best of all creations, of every creation that Allah created. And he is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the son of Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim, son of Abdul Manaf, son of Qusay, son of Kilab, son of Murrah, son of Ka'b, son of Lu'ay, son of Ghalib, son of Fihr, son of Malik, son of An-Nadr. And An-Nadr, he was the one that was called Quraysh. And he is the son of Kinana, son of Khuzaymah, son of Mudrika, son of Ilyas, son of Mudar, son of Nizar, son of Ma'ad, son of Adnan. And it is a communal obligation to memorize the Prophet's lineage, alayhi salatu wassalam, up to Adnan, yani where we just ended. After that, the Prophet's lineage goes back to Prophet Ismail, alayhi salam, the son of Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam. And Al-Imam Muslim narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Indeed, Allah eternally chose Kinana from the offspring of Ismail and chose Quraysh from Kinana and chose Bani Hashim from Quraysh, and he chose me from Bani Hashim." And this means that the best of the best was chosen, subhanallah. So the Prophet's lineage is a high lineage. It's the best lineage. And his mother is Amina, the daughter of Wahb. And Wahb is the son of Abdu Manaf, who is the son of Zuhrah, son of Kilab, son of Murrah, son of Ka'b, son of Lu'ay, the son of Ghalib, son of Fihr, son of Malik, son of An-Nadr. And so his mother is the Sayyidah of the women of Bani Zuhra. And it's very important to mention that she was a believer, as was his father. the Prophet's mother and father were believers. And the scholars mentioned this. Amongst them was Al-Bayhaqi in Dala'il al-Nubuwah, as well as As-Suyuti, and many others. And they confirmed that this pure woman, Amina, may Allah raise her rank, the Prophet's mother, alayhi salatu wassalam, was indeed a believer in Allah the Exalted. And Lady Amina, radiyallahu anha, she was under the care of her uncle Wuhayb, the son of Abdu Manaf, son of Zuhra, when Abdul Muttalib, the Prophet's grandfather, went to him, and he had Abdullah, his son, with him, the Prophet's father. And there he got Abdullah and Aminah married. So the Prophet's parents are both safe in the hereafter. Even our Imam, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, may Allah raise his rank, he said about the Prophet's parents, مَا مَاتَا كَافِرَيْن. They did not die as kuffar, he said, meaning they died as believers. They were believers. And As-Suyuti has a book in confirming that both the Prophet's parents are safe in the hereafter. And he mentions in this book the proofs for that. And he also mentioned the meanings of the hadiths that others took to claim that the Prophet's parents died upon al-kufr. So he took those hadiths and he actually explained what they mean. He gave their meanings. And As-Suyuti explained that those hadiths do not mean that the Prophet's parents died upon al-kufr. And so out of the great endowments of Allah upon his Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam is that Allah made both his parents believers. Subhanallah. He granted both of them to die upon al-Iman, upon belief, upon at-Tawheed. So they believed in Allah correctly. And this is not something hard or impossible upon Allah Ta'ala, of course. This is something that Allah honored his Prophet with. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Subhanallah, if any of us have Muslim parents, I'm sure many of us do, if not all of us, then this is a great endowment from Allah, really, when you think about it, that Allah made a Muslim's parents, for example, Muslims as well, believers as well. This is a great endowment. Not everyone has that. Some of our brothers and sisters, their parents are not Muslim. Or perhaps one of their parents isn't Muslim and one is. So to have two Muslim parents is a great endowment from Allah Ta'ala. Let's talk about celebrating the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. So amongst the greatest endowments that Allah endowed us with is Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, without a doubt. Him being sent forward as a prophet and messenger to us is one of the greatest endowments from Allah upon us. So amongst the good matters that the believer is rewarded for is what they do now during the month of Rabi'a al-awwal. Yani this is the month that the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam was born in. So what the Muslim does now, seeking the reward from Allah, is something that Allah would reward them for, insha'Allah ta'ala, of good deeds. And they do that by thanking Allah ta'ala. Yani, the Muslim thanks Allah ta'ala by doing many different types of obedience during this month. Thanking Allah for what? For the endowment of the appearance of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, the Prophet of Mercy. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, he himself signaled to the importance of this innovation of commemorating his birth. And that was when the A'rabi, the Bedouin man, asked him, why is he fasting on Monday? Why does the Prophet fast on Monday? So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he answered that man by saying, ذاك يوم ولدت فيه وأنزل علي فيه. He said, it was the day I was born and the day on which I received revelation. And this hadith is sahih, it is authentic, and it is narrated by Al-Imam Muslim. So as you can see, this hadith is a proof that it is recommended to do the good deeds on the days on which the endowments of Allah are renewed upon the slaves. Because the Prophet was born on a Monday, but because Monday renews itself, right? It appears again and again every week. The Prophet fasted on that day. And when he was asked why he's fasting on that day, this is the answer he gave, alayhi salatu wassalam. He said, because I was born on that day. And that's why our scholars, the scholars of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, may Allah reward them greatly, they took great care over time to author about the Prophet's birth. Al-Hafiz Muhammad Abdul Hayy Al-Kattani mentioned in a book of his called At-Ta'alif Al-Mawlidiyah 125 books about the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. And these were not the only ones, of course. Rather, this is what he mentioned in his book. He mentioned 125 books about the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. And so this shows how much importance the scholars gave to the honorable birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. So how could we not guide our people, our parents, and our spouses, our kids, and family members, our friends and loved ones, to know about this Prophet and to know his attributes? How can we not? Allah the Exalted said in the Quran, in ayah 69 of Surah Al-Mu'minun, أَمْ لَمْ يَعْرِفُوا رَسُولَهُمْ فَهُمْ لَهُ مُنْكِرُونَ. It means, or have they not known the noble lineage, trustworthiness, and intelligence of their messenger? Indeed, they know him, but they deny him enviously. The knowledgeable people said, this verse alone is enough in strongly urging one to learn the life and attributes of our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala revealed in Surah Al-A'raf in Ayah 157. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الذين يتبعون الرسول النبي الأمي الذي يجدونه مكتوبا عندهم في التوراة والإنجيل يأمرهم بالمعروف وينهاهم عن المنكر. Allah revealed in this ayah, the part of this ayah, that there are people, i.e. the companions, that follow the messenger, the prophet, the one that is unlettered, he does not read and does not write, the one that they find being mentioned in their books. This is the books of the people of the book, the unaltered Torah and unaltered Gospel, Al-Torah and Al-Injil. Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was made reference to, was mentioned in both Al-Torah that was revealed to Musa and Harun alayhim salam, and in Al-Injil that was revealed to Prophet Isa alayhi salam. يَأْمُرُهُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, he commands, i.e. Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam commands that which is obligatory and good, and warns against that which is sinful and sinister. Allah revealed in the Quran, also in Surah As-Saff, وَإِذْ قَالَ عِيسَى بْنُ مَرْيَمَ يَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيَّ مِنَ التَّوْرَاةِ وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي مِن بَعْدِ اسْمُهُ أَحْمَدُ. Allah revealed that Prophet Isa alayhi salam called out to Bani Israel, O children of Israel, Ya Bani Israel, I am the messenger of Allah to you, and I confirm that which I find in front of me of At-Torah, because in the time of Isa alayhi salam, At-Torah still hadn't been changed. And he studied from At-Torah when he was younger. He said, so I am someone who is musaddiqan of the Torah, confirming the Torah, that this is a book of Allah. And I am mubashiran bi rasulin, and I am a giver of glad tidings, a giver of good news of a messenger that will ya'ti min ba'di, that will come after me, after Isa alayhi salam, ismuhu Ahmad, and his name is Ahmad. And Ahmad is another name for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So you've already heard how the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was from a certain people. You've already heard about how the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was from a certain people, from a certain tribe, and so on and so forth. So let us go into some of the details about that, inshallah. As for the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then knowing it up to Adnan, and we're going to mention it now, Knowing it up to Adnan is a communal obligation, is a fard kifaya, meaning that there need to be some people in every community who know the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam back to Adnan, which was his great, 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 and so on grandfather. One of the scholars known as Ibn Dihyah mentioned these names up to Adnan. And this is the agreed upon lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam up to Adnan. This is agreed upon. There is no difference in opinion among the scholars with regards to this. And then after Adnan up to Adam alayhi salam, there is a difference of opinion. Al-Imam Malik, for example, for this reason, did not like for people to claim to know the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam back to Adam alayhi salam, because this is not agreed upon. Some of the scholars, when they were told about this, when it was mentioned to them that some people are mentioning the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam back to Adnan, back to Adam, some of the scholars would say, Imam Malik himself, he said, Man akhbarahu bihi? Who told this person the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam from Adnan to Adam? Meaning there is no agreed upon or reliable way of them knowing. Anyway, but it is permissible to do so. So, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his lineage there is someone called Adnan. His son, the son of Adnan, was Ma'ad. Ma'ad, Mim, Ain, Dal. So Adnan had a son known as Ma'ad. Ma'ad had a son known as Nizar. Nizar. Nizar had a son who was known as Mudar. Now Mudar, his name was actually Amr. Amr. Ain, Mim, Ra. And then they put a waw usually. Amr. But we know Adnan, the father of Ma'ad, the father of Nizar, the father of Mudar, Mim, Bad, Ra. Father of Ilyas. Father of Mudrikah. Mudrikah, his name was also Amr. Ain, Mim, Ra. Amr. Not Umar, but Amr. Father of Khuzaymah. Father of Kinana. Father of An-Nadb. An-Nadb. Now, An-Nadb, so Alif, Lam, Noon, Bad, Ra. His name was Qais. His name was Qais. So we have Adnan, father of Ma'ad, father of Nizar, father of Amr, also known as Mudar, father of Ilyas, father of Amr, also known as Mudrika, father of Khuzaymah, father of Kinana, father of Qais, also known as An-Nadb, father of Malik, father of Fihr. So Fihr, the son of Malik, Fihr. Fa, ha, ra, fa, ha, ra, Fihr. Now Fihr, his name was Quraysh. So Fihr was a title. So when I mentioned to you that such and such person was known as something, and then I say his name was, that means this person had a name and a title. So Fihr was a title. His name was Quraysh. And it is mentioned that the tribe of Quraysh was attributed to him. So Quraysh, or Fihr, was the father of Ghalib, father of Lu'ay, father of Ka'b, father of Murrah, father of Kilab. And Kilab, his name was Hakim. Hakim. He was nicknamed Kilab, which actually means, which is a plural for the word dog. Kilab means dogs. But he was given this nickname because of his hunting. He used to hunt with dogs. But his name was Hakim. Hakim. He was the father of Qusay. Qusay. Qaf, Sad, Ya. Qusay. And Qusay's name was Zayd. Zayd. He was the father of Abdu Manaf. And Abdu Manaf, he was called Manaf because he was very, very tall. You say about something that is tall or high that it is Munif. So he was known as Manaf because he was very tall. And the Arabs would say, for example, if they wanted to say a number and they wanted to say like, instead of saying like 107, they'd say Mi'a wa Nayif, like 100 and something. So it was a high number, a tall number. Nayif. Anyway, these words, they come from the same root. Munif, Manaf, Nayif. Abdu Manaf, his real name was Al-Mughirah. Al-Mughirah. He was the father of Hashim. Don't we say about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was the Hashemite prophet? Al-Nabiyul Hashimi, nisbatan, being attributed to Hashim. Hashim, the word Hashim, the ha, the sheen, and the meme refers to breaking something solid. And he was, Hashim, given this title because it wasn't his name though. His name was Amir. But he was called Hashim, literally the breaker of solid things, because he was the one who innovated the practice of giving the pilgrims to Mecca food in broth. He'd break food and put it in broth or condiment and give it to the pilgrims. So he would do al-hashmu to the food. He would break it. So he was known as al-hashim, but his name was Amir. Then you have Abdul Muttalib. So his son was Abdul Muttalib. Isn't it Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib? So Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his name was Shaybah. Shaybatul Hamd. Shaybatul Hamd. Shayb means white hair. If you have shayb, you have white hair. MashaAllah. If you have black hair, then you have no shayb. If you have no hair, then you also have no shayb. MashaAllah. Shayb is white hair. And he was called Shaybatul Hamd, because when he was born with a white hair. And it could be seen in his locks, even when he was older. People used to call him Sayyid Makkah, the master of Mecca. He was seen as the leader of his people. He used to feed the people the best types of food. He cared for his people. He used to feed them the liver and camel meat from the hump, which is considered the best type of meat, especially to the pilgrims that would come to the Kaaba, to Mecca. And he is known, however, even though his name is Shaybatul Hamd, he is known as Abdul Muttalib, literally the slave of Muttalib, because when he was younger, his father Hashim, remember Hashim, whose name was actually Amir, when the grandfather of the Prophet ﷺ was young, his own father died. And so he went into the care of his paternal uncle, his father's brother, Hashim's brother. Hashim's brother was called Al-Muttalib. Al-Muttalib. So when his uncle Al-Muttalib took Shaybatul Hamd one day on one of his travels, Shaybatul Hamd's clothes were creased and dirty. So when they arrived to wherever they were going, they thought that he was the slave of Al-Muttalib, as opposed to being his nephew, which he was. They thought he was the slave of Al-Muttalib. So from that, the name stuck, Abdul Muttalib, the slave of Al-Muttalib. So that was the grandfather of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So then we have his son, the son of Shaybatul Hamd, who was Abdullah. And what was his name? Abdullah. And this was the father of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So we usually say Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib ibn Hashim ibn Abdi Manaf ibn Qusay ibn Kilab ibn Murrah ابن كعب ابن لؤي ابن غالب ابن فهر ابن مالك ابن النضر ابن كنانة ابن خزيمة ابن مدركة ابن إلياس ابن مضر ابن نزار ابن معد ابن عدنان. But if we were using their real names, we'd say Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Shaybat al-Hamd ibn Amr ibn al-Mughira ibn Zayd ibn Hakim ibn Murrah ibn Ka'b ibn Lu'ay ibn Ghalib ibn Quraysh ibn Malik ibn Qais ibn Kinana ibn Khuzaym ibn Amr ibn Ilyas ibn Amr ibn Nizar ibn Ma'ad ibn Adnan. So if you can, we should strive to, of course, memorize it the way that is very popularly known, but it's also helpful to memorize it with their real names. And we'll continue about the story of the birth of the Prophet ﷺ very soon.
Allah the Exalted mentioned the stories of the prophets before Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in his glorified book, that is in the Quran. In fact, Allah Ta'ala also mentioned stories of people who were not prophets, like the story of Lady Maryam giving birth to Prophet Isa alayhi salam. And after mentioning some of the stories in his book, what did Allah say to his prophet? Allah said, لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ, which means, so to fortify your heart by it. Also, like in Ayah 120 from Surah Hud, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. This is another ayah. It means, we inform you, O Muhammad, of all those accounts of the messengers, of that by which we reinforce your heart. So if the meaning, or if the mentioning of these stories of prophets before Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, and stories of people who were not even prophets, contains in it a reinforcement and a fortifying of the Prophet's heart, of Prophet Muhammad's heart, alayhi salatu wassalam, then where are we from the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Yani, what can listening to and knowing his story do for us? What can it do for our hearts? Which are hearts that are, without a doubt, much less fortified than Prophet Muhammad's heart, alayhi salatu wassalam. It is from our love for the Prophet that we mention him. And from his biography we pursue, and from his blessings we seek the most that we can get. And from his manners we learn. This is our Master Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, whom we grew up loving. This is our Master Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, whom our parents and grandparents taught us to follow and love. He is the one whom we ask Allah to grant us His intercession, His shafa'ah on the Day of Judgment. He is Muhammad, the great leader, alayhi salatu wassalam. The Muslims, they say this statement. They say, إِذَا اشْتَدَّ الظَّلَامُ فَالْقَائِدُ مُحَمَّد. It means, if the darkness intensifies, then Muhammad is the best example, is the best role model. So Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, he is the leader that we follow. He is the apple of our eyes, as they say. And there is no just, fair person that would have the slightest doubt that our Master Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, is the most beneficial person for the people. Remember to say as-salah ala nabi every time you hear the mentioning of him, alayhi salatu wassalam. So, how many people think about this? Actually think about it. How many people benefited from Prophet Muhammad? How many people became pious and reached al-wilayah because of Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam? How many people were protected from hellfire because of Prophet Muhammad? How many tongues mentioned Allah because of Prophet Muhammad? How many hearts felt the greatness of Allah because of our Master Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam? How many hearts feared Allah because of our Master Muhammad? How many eyes cried because of our Master Muhammad? In fact, how many crimes were put an end to because of our Master Muhammad? How many children were good to their parents because of our Master Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam? How much goodness spread over this earth because of our leader and master Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam? How many adhans, calls to prayer, were called from over 1,400 years ago till now because of our Master Muhammad? How many prostrations were prostrated for the sake of Allah because of our Master Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam? How many verses of the Quran were recited because of our Master Muhammad? How many Muslims uttered the testifications of faith because of our Master and beloved Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam? And we can keep going. Yani, all of this, and there is so much more that we can say. One would spend days and weeks, even months, mentioning all of it. And still, they would not include everything. Who knows the count of all the blessings and merits of our Master Muhammad, alayhi salatu wassalam, except Allah? No one. No one but Allah knows them all. So all the believers who do good deeds, because of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for centuries doing good deeds for the sake of Allah, all of that, it goes back to the source. Think of all the good deeds that were ever done in this nation. It all goes back to the source. And the source is the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. He is the one whom Allah Ta'ala revealed the revelation to. He is the one who taught us. He taught the companions and they taught those after them and so on. And so he's the source. It all goes back to him. So think about how much reward the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam has and continues to get. Every second that passes, the Prophet's account is increasing in good deeds because there are believers all over the world doing good deeds. And this is on top of the reward of his own deeds, alayhi salatu wassalam. Subhanallah. So how can we not show our happiness and joy for this great man and leader, this great creation of Allah being sent to us? All of these things are mentioned in the Mawlid, in commemorating the birth of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. How strange it is that someone would come up to you and say, "This is a bid'ah. What are you doing?" Meaning, this is an innovation. What are you doing? And they mean by that, what they actually mean is, this thing that you're doing should not be done. You shouldn't be doing this. That's what they mean. How can anyone say that? Think about it. How can anyone say that? Yani, what is it that we are doing right now? We are mentioning the merits of the best creation and increasing our love for him. Subhanallah. Some hearts are blind. They are very blind and very far away from the truth. And Allah Ta'ala opens the hearts of whomever He wills. So we ask Allah Ta'ala to keep our hearts firm upon the truth and upon the way of the Prophet and upon everything the Prophet loves and accepts. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen.
So before we continue, inshallah, let's have a little quiz. Inshallah. طيب. ما اسمه what was the name of Abdul Muttalib? Who's going to tell us? What was the name of Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? هيا يا جماعة. محمد بن عبد الله ابن عبد المطلب. What was the name of Abdul Muttalib? Nobody? Nobody remembers? Name. Is it working? Is it not working? You sure? Not
Yeah, I
working?
believe so.
الله الله يا جماعة الخير، هذه سيرة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. محمد بن عبد الله ابن عبد المطلب. Oh, wait, I've got messages coming through now. Maybe شيبة. صحيح. شيبة الحمد. شيبة يعني title ده. شيبة. Say it like this. شيبة. Shaybatul Ham. The first part, Shayba, means a white hair. Okay? Shaybatul Ham. طيب. What was the name of, this will be the last question for now, whose name was Quraysh? Who in the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was named Quraysh? Yeah, again, can you check the mic? The mic's working. Yes. No. It was anybody? I'll just give it a few more seconds because I know the seems like the messages they come in a little later. Who was known as Quraysh? Someone in the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam known as Quraysh. Nope. Okay. In this session, yes, you got your hand up. Yes. Okay. Yes. In this session, I'm not going to pick on people. MashaAllah. I'm not going to say, for example, I'm not going to pick a random name. MashaAllah. I'm not going to say, for example, okay, iPhone, for example, or somebody else. No.
Anonymous.
Anonymous, yeah. طيب, MashaAllah. Then, the person in the lineage of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, whose name was Quraysh, was Fihr. There are two sayings about this, but we're going to go with this one for now. Was Fihr.
The other saying is another.
The other saying is, yeah,
I know it to be another.
Another? Okay. Another. Let's continue. Sure. So the grandfather of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, Abdul Muttalib, saw in a dream that someone is telling him to dig out the well of Zamzam. This well had appeared in the time of Ismail alayhi salam, if you recall, but then after which it had been covered and it disappeared under the sand. So Abdul Muttalib saw in a dream, and they knew, the people of Mecca knew about the well of Zamzam and Safa and Marwa and so on. So Abdul Muttalib, he saw in a dream that he's being told to dig out this well in a place called Qaryatun Naml, the village of
Ants.
the village of ants. He was told, go to Qaryatun Naml, where the crows that have white in their wings are pecking. He saw in a dream that he's being told, go to Qaryatun Naml, and that is the place where the crows that have white, the color white in their wings, are pecking. He was told that the well of Zamzam is there and that it would never dry up, and with it he would be able to provide water for the pilgrims to Mecca. So he took his only son at the time, Al-Harith, and he found the pecking of crows. He found them between two idols. One was called Na'ilah and the other Isaf. It is said that these were two people who committed an indecent act inside the Kaaba, and so Allah turned them to stone. Thereafter, Quraysh would make sacrifices here to their idols by slaughtering animals. The people of Quraysh at that time, they attempted to stop Abdul Muttalib. And you know this place. This place is near the Kaaba, where the original part of a Zamzam is. So the Quraysh tried to stop him. But Abdul Muttalib, Shaybatul Hamd, said to his son, protect me while I dig, for it is something that I have been ordered to do, and I will not give up until I have executed what I was ordered to carry out. It is said that he would dig in the day, and people who did not want him to take credit for this endeavor would destroy what he had done by night. So at that, he made dua that he is given 10 children. Remember, at this time, he only had Al-Harith, just one child. He supplicated that he would be granted 10 children. Anyway, he dug and he dug and he dug until he found clay. What does that mean? If you dig and you dig and you dig in the dirt and you dig into a point at which you find clay, that means there is water there. When he found it, he said, Allahu Akbar. The sons of Abdul Manaf would pride in the face of the rest of Quraysh over the fact that they found Zamzam. You remember we said that Abdul Muttalib only had one child, Al-Harith. And so he made an oath to Allah. He said, if Allah grants me 10 boys, I will slaughter one of them. Later, after this point, he married again. And he was granted 9 more males. So in total now that was 10. When this happened, he informed his children. After a while, he informed them of the vow that he had made to Allah. He ordered them to write down their names and hand them to him. He went to the Kaaba to present the names to the, according to them, the greatest idol, Hubal. Hubal. Hubal, this was one of the supposed greatest idols. Inside the Kaaba, Inside the Kaaba, and there would be a priest. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There would be a priest inside the Kaaba, and he would administer this what do you call it? Drawing the lots. That's it. Drawing the lots. He would administer this. People would come and they would say, I have a matter to ask Hubal. So he would say, yes, come forth, and I will do the deed, whatever. So he went to the Kaaba. And remember, let's remember, Abdul Muttalib did not hear the call of any prophet. Abdul Muttalib died when Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was 8 years of age. So he did not reach an age at which he heard the message of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So Abdul Muttalib, he was an idol worshipper. So the scholars said this makes him from Ahlul Fatra. Ahlul Fatra, people who didn't hear the call of any prophet. So they would not be accountable. So when they die, so Ahlul Fatra, they worship idols, they were kuffar. They will be resurrected on the day of judgment and be tested on the day of judgment. And because they were not accountable, they would be given the correct belief in Allah and so on, and they would enter paradise. So Abdul Muttalib, he went to present the names to the idol Hubal, who was residing in the Kaaba. It was a rock in the Kaaba. And this idol was resting upon a well. All offerings and sacrifices were made, all offerings that were made to the Kaaba were kept here. Like we said, if ever people had a case, they would present it to Hubal, this rock. I think I saw, subhanallah, I think I saw a picture of this idol that they call Hubal. Yeah, really ugly, like a long face. It looked like a cartoon, but like a bit like a seal. But I think they have big lips and they're not like big brown eyes. I think. Hubal. One of the people, Abu Sufyan, radiyallahu anhu, when he wasn't a Muslim, in one of the battles, he said, when they were facing the Muslims, he wanted support, supposedly. So he said, U'lu Hubal. He said, U'lu Hubal. May Hubal be high and gracious. And so the Prophet ﷺ said, Allahu a'azzu wa ajal. Allah is greater. Ya salam. So they used to call upon this rock, this ugly rock during war. So, أصلا يعني يسترسلون في الحرب. الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام. So they would take their cases, their disputes and so on to this rock, Huban. This included marriages, circumcisions, burying the dead, doubting about someone's lineage and other matters. Lots of matters. For example, if someone lost their shoe, they go to Hubal. A person would come and bring 100 silver coins, 100 dirham, because of course in that time Hubal ain't cheap. You know, you gotta. Subhanallah. They took 100 silver coins, and the priest person, he needed to live. لقمة العيش. So they would take with them 100 silver coins, darahim, as well as camels. Then the priest would inform, then the person would inform the lot keeper, the priest himself, of the need, and the priest would say, "Oh God, here is such and such, son of such and such, and he requests such and such. We ask you to make manifest the truth." And Hubal would just look at them with his big lips. Maybe Hubal was a woman, I forgot. Hubal. No more than 7 straws existed there. 7. Each one inscribed with one of the following. The first one would say, for example, al-aql, i.e., if they disagreed in the blood money or death money, somebody killed somebody, so they disagreed about the money, the blood money should be given, they would consult Hubal to see who would pay. Another one of the straws would say, Na'am. Sakhafa, and silly. And Hubal, not a stone of many words. Number 1 would say Aql, number 2 would say Na'am, number 3 would say La, meaning yes and no. Number 4 would say Minkum, from you. Number 5 would say Min ghayrikum, from other than you. Number 6 would say Mulsaq, I forgot what that means exactly here. And 7 would say Al-Miyah, waters. Abdul Muttalib gave the lot keeper the names and told him to pull one out. So remember the names of his sons. So he pulled out the name Abdullah, the father of the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. And he was the most beloved to Abdul Muttalib. He was the most beloved to Shaybat al-Hamd. So Abdullah, as well as Abu Talib, as well as Az-Zubayr, they were all from the wife of Abdul Muttalib, Fatima. Interesting, isn't it? The mother of the Prophet ﷺ was Amina. And his grandmother, from his father's side, his paternal grandmother was Fatima. It's reported that when Abdul Muttalib saw this, that it's Abdullah, his name who's being taken out, he got a blade and he took Abdullah by the hand and headed towards Na'ilah and Isaf, these 2 idols. He went to slaughter him. The people of Quraysh were appalled. They pleaded with him not to do so. And that this would, if he was to do this, it would result in every person, because you'd be modeling behavior, it would result in every person vowing to slaughter their children. They said, let us offer a monetary payment to substitute for this slaughtering. They also said to him, go to Al-Hijaz, go to the Hijaz, and there you will find a soothsayer, and he will tell you what to do. Madness. Nowadays, someone wants advice, say, go to the sheikh, go to the wise person, go to the pilot. They said, they quite literally said, go to this khabib. He'll tell you what to do. Go to this khabib. Go to this evil person. Go to the soothsayer. He'll tell you what to do. Like, as if you put your trust in the soothsayer. Anyway, so he agreed. When he reached Al-Madinah, they came across, quote unquote, a wise man. He said to them, go back to Mecca. Go back to Mecca to the lots in the Kaaba and keep offering camels, 10 camels, until your Lord accepts. Like this, your boy would be saved. Yani hila. Or I say a trick. So when they returned to Mecca, they did that. It's mentioned that they kept pulling out the lot. They kept pulling out the straw, and the name of Abdullah kept coming out. So he said, oh no, Hubal isn't happy. This does not please Hubal. Give him 10 camels. So they slaughtered 10 camels, and they said, okay, pull out the straw again. So they pulled out the straw again, and the name of Abdullah came out again. They said, oh, Hubal is not, this does not please Hubal. Give him 10 more, like this. Until I forgot how many they said they slaughtered. Until by chance. Until they finally, yes, offered 100 camels. Yeah, 10 times it happened. And then I don't know who told them that this is enough. The priest probably thought, look, this is, I'm good for the whole year now. I don't know. The mother of the Prophet ﷺ was from the clan of Zuhra, as you've already heard. Bani Zuhra, from the tribe of Quraysh. So Quraysh is made up of many clans, extended families. Banu Fulan, wa Banu Fulan, wa Banu Fulan, wa Banu Fulan. كل هذه البطون هي لا كل هذه all of these clans, the name if you will, they make up Quraysh. Her father's name was Wahb ibn Abdin. But she was raised by her uncle, Uhayb, her father's brother. So after the incident of the drawing the straws, Abdul Muttalib, Shaybat al-Hamdi, wanted to get Abdullah married. So he started to worry about his marriage. So he went to Wuhayb from the clan of Zuhra with his son. He asked Lady Amina, so his daughter, he asked her to marry his grandson, his son. And at the same time, he asked for her sister. So Abdul Muttalib, he went to ask for his Lady Amina's hand in marriage for his son. And at the same time, while he was there, he asked for her sister's hand in marriage for himself. So that his son and him would be married to two sisters. Father and son married two sisters. So that's it with hey, Wuhayb. So Wuhayb, who was the uncle, he accepted. He accepted. So 2 marriages took place in that session. Just before this, while they were on their way to that gathering, they passed by a woman on the way to this event. They passed by a woman from the tribe of Abdullah. Abdullah. عرفتم العبدري? When she saw him, she told him, she requested from Abdullah. She said, marry me. Come, let's get married. And this was because she saw between his eyes on his forehead a light. Similar to the white spots sometimes you see on the horse. But she saw a light, something distinct. But they continued walking. Then the marriage occurred. Then after this, by some time, Sayyiduna Abdullah radiyallahu anhu passed by her once again. And so he inquired about why she had said what she'd said. And this was after he had married Lady Amina and consummated the marriage and so on. So she told him that I had wanted to marry you because I saw something between your eyes. But now I know that Amina, she got it. Shortly after that, the pregnancy or the fact that Lady Amina was with child became apparent. She said, I did not feel. It became apparent, meaning it was not. She said, I did not feel that I was pregnant. I didn't feel any hardship because of being pregnant. And I didn't feel heavy. This meant that she at first did not know that she was pregnant because those signs that women usually experience, she did not experience them. Rather, she just noticed that she was not menstruating anymore. When she was asleep or between sleep and wakefulness, she would see someone come to her and telling her, do you know that you are pregnant? And she would answer, no, I don't know. Then she was told, you are carrying the master of this nation and its prophet. She was told this on a Monday. And that is what led her to believe that she was pregnant. Although she did not see any of the signs of pregnancy except for missing her menses. Someone came to her. She said someone came to her and informed her to say, fortify him, protect him, بالواحد الصمد, i.e. by Allah. Protect him, i.e. the one in your womb. Protect him, seek protection with al-wahid as-samad, min sharri kulli hasid, from the evil of every envious. Yes. She was 15 years old at the time. She was 15 years old. And she was 15 when she gave birth to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Next time, we speak about the passing of the father of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, inshallah, with some other lovely and beneficial introductions, inshallah, and additions. We speak about the year of the elephant, the date of the birth of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, signs, birthplace, the different signs that occurred when he was born. We speak about Abu Lahab, speak about Thuwaybah, the breastfeeding, the Bedouins, the Prophet going away, alayhi salatu wasalam, to every way back, where that is, how far it is, and so on, inshallah ta'ala. So please do join us next time, inshallah ta'ala. Let us stop here now. Let's say La ilaha illallah and as-salah alayhi nabi. I ask Allah Ta'ala to grant us to see the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tonight, as it is for many of us that already Laylatul Jumu'ah. So don't forget to say As-Salah ala Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.